Hello and welcome. We're going to be live reacting to the Koch Media presentation, or should I say Prime Matter presentation. Should be some good games shown. Hopefully a new Payday, the Payday 3 that they announced a little bit ago. Hopefully the next Kingdom Come Deliverance. The first one was really good, so the second one should be even better, I'd expect. And then whatever new IPs they're working on. Away we go.
Hello there guys, my name is Opal Cadman and welcome. Today
Opal,
I
that's
have
a nice
three
name.
main tasks. The first one is to introduce you to Koch Media's brand new
Koch Media.
label. Number two is to take a deep dive into some of the games coming to that label. And finally, number three is to show you what the new label will be getting up to in the streaming world. I want to welcome streamers who are co-streaming this today. Hello.
Hello.
Some of you guys are guys
hello.
who I've looked up to and watched for many years. And speaking of people who I've looked up to for many years, I am so proud to introduce
That's you,
Jeff Keeley, who will be helping me co-host us through this entire list of games. Jeff, how's it going?
Thanks, Opal. It is so great to be here with you
Jeff.
for the first ever live stream from Prime Matter. I was honored yesterday to reveal the label to the world at the Summer Game Fest kickoff event. And wow, you've got a lot of games there in that sizzle, over a dozen games. So I know today
over a dozen.
We're going to go a little bit more in depth to talk about all these games, to talk to a lot of the developers. But for those of you that might have missed it yesterday or just want to see it again, let's kick things off with a look at that announcement sizzle reel for Prime Matter.
This was a good sizzle reel. We saw it yesterday, like you just said.
Sometimes I ask myself
Yeah, it's a lot of good games.
What it all means. Let's begin.
Really good sizzle reel too. I wonder if Jeff put this trailer together as well. He's really good at editing, motion graphics, all that stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Crisis? I wonder if they're publishing the Crisis remasters.
My purpose makes.
Does that look like a suit from Crisis?
I finally have the feeling we're doing something worthwhile.
Being relied on to succeed where others would fail.
Gungrave, The Last Oraku, Outward, Scars Above, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Dolmen, Crossfire Legion, Iron Harvest, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, King's Bounty, Codename Final Form, Encased, Echoes of the End, and
Prime Matter.
I guess they didn't even have to say Payday.
Yes, guys, you just saw 12
It seemed like it,
games
Kakashi.
and counting. And that's just the start for Prime Matter. But before we get into these incredible games, what I like to call the juicy bits, I want to talk to you about what Prime Matter is and who we are. Prime Matter is the new premium
Jesus, Kloof.
gaming label of Koch Media. It dedicates itself to delivering a range of immersive and diverse games from amazing development talent all around the globe. It highlights the varied influences of global studios and their different approaches to game making. The new label will lead through creativity and expression with games that enthrall players.
Get to the
with
juicy
marvelous
bits.
Storytelling, create incredible moments, and above all, they're fun. The team behind Prime Matter is a melting pot of incredible talent, led by seasoned industry veterans and complemented by a young, fresh, dynamic team of multicultural gaming experts.
Into the thick of it.
Gamers at heart,
Ooh, Painkiller
working
coming
with
up.
Such a wide range of passionate developers producing games together by gamers for gamers. And that being said, for all you keen-eyed individuals out there, you would have seen that one game was actually missing in our 12-game lineup for Prime Matter during the video. That is a game that comes from the Embracer family itself. Jeff got to sit down with Todd Hollinshead and talk all about
Todd Holland.
Painkiller.
Oh, Painkiller.
All right, you saw the news yesterday. Yes, there is a new Painkiller coming, and Todd is joining me now to maybe give us a few more details. I know this is kind of a fresh project for the team at Saber, and you guys, first of all, I love that you and Tim Willits are there, continuing to build out Saber. And Painkiller was a franchise. You and I are both OG. We remember was it probably
OG
15 years ago at this point?
Yeah, it's been a while. Closer to two decades than one.
My God. All right. Well, but it's one of those classic games. Let me ask you from a Prime Matter perspective. You know, you've been in the industry.
I like the light
all
behind
those
him, though.
years, and we remember that game. Why
The-
was
the
this
guy
a
on the left.
franchise that you guys wanted to sort of bring back?
Well,
Kind of boring. Yeah, this part will be a little boring because they're just talking about the game that they're basically just started. Or maybe started a year ago, so they don't have much to show.
Intense, cool guns. These are the things that kind of hit the nail on the head of what appeals to me
Fighter.
in a video game, both as as a fan and then also as a publisher at Saber. So we're hoping to capture those same sort of elements and bring those into the new game.
Yeah, you guys are certainly masters of doing shooters from all your time at id, and Painkiller does have a lot of that DNA of fast-paced action with a little bit of a twist to it.
Fast-paced
And,
action.
the fact you guys are working with Prime Matter is also exciting. Brand new publisher, brand new label. What do you think of the fact that they're doing this label, and it's such a diverse lineup of companies and partners around it? I know you guys work with a lot of publishers, but it's pretty exciting to see a new label announced. That doesn't happen every day.
No, it doesn't. And
There's a little Boba Fett statue behind him
within
too.
the Embracer Group, it's just a business that is growing. We've got great leadership at the top, and so Koch Media is wanting to expand their publishing. And I think that the name they chose, Prime Matter, sort of is it's sort of like the primordial soup of putting together stuff from nothing. So it kind of makes me think of this is what we do when we make video games. You start with Pixel Zero, and then at the end of the day, you make a game. So I feel like that that kind of resonates with hopefully the type of experiences that we're going to be providing. Not just
Hopefully.
within Prime Matter and working with them between Saber and our partnership, but across the Embracer Group as well.
Yeah, no, it sounds like they have a lot of games in development, but the fact that you are bringing back Painkiller is really exciting. And I know, fans, of course,
We ain't
want to
calm.
know a little bit about, what's the game going to look, how's it going to play. Probably can't share a lot of details about it, but you're kind of in the early stages of development now on this.
Yeah, super early.
Yeah,
and,
see, they're just early on it.
Anything that I would share, I'd probably get
The game's probably 3 years out at the
back
earliest.
to the developer, because all these the first stuff that comes out almost always gets sort of iterated on and changed, and so we're trying to keep the lid on the details until we have something that's going to be really awesome to show.
All right, well, we will be waiting for it, and we know with you involved, it's going to be
Coming up
something
the
very
chant.
special, fast-paced action, I have no doubt. So, new Painkiller coming soon from the team at Saber, published by Prime.
Jesus, that's wicked loud. Hold on.
I really can't wait to hear more about Painkiller and the fact that
Calm that down.
Todd,
Jesus.
Tim, and the team
Thanks,
at
Aaron, though.
Saber are working on
Thanks
it.
for subscribing. Appreciate that, bud.
Pretty special when they are ready to share more. So,
Sorry about that. That was so loud. I don't know why that was so loud.
Painkiller, Payday, but I know there's a
Turned
lot
it down.
more we're here to talk about today as well, right, Opal?
Actually,
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. That is 4 months in a row. God damn.
This minute.
It's awesome. Thank you,
We're
Boo.
so excited to show you guys what us and the developers have been up to.
Oh,
However,
no, don't worry about it
before
too,
you
Iron.
see some of the
It's not a big
content
deal.
we show you today, I do
We'll be
have
starting a
to
new
make
server
clear
soon,
that
or
some of
relatively
this
soon,
is
so
pre-alpha,
no worries.
alpha, high-level concept, and some of it is about to release right around the corner.
Well, it's not too much of a lot of money. I
please
mean,
keep that in mind
it was
when
with
we
Prime, so
finish
that was
up.
free for him.
That being said, how do you guys feel about a psychedelic third-person survival horror game? set on what it means to go on a journey about self-enlightenment and what happens when it all goes wrong. I got to speak with the developers of the Chant work in progress title about their game and who they are.
A horror
Our
survival
game is
game.
about a group of people who go to a spiritual retreat to seek enlightenment, and they basically get a little more than they bargained for. And your character
Sounds pretty
has
cool.
to deal with her own personal issues as well as the cosmic terrors that become awakened.
Cool. So
Yeah, probably
what type of
Iron.
genre is
We'll
this
we'll
game?
take a backup
It's
of
a
the
bit hard to
current
pin
Minecraft
down
world,
with
and
with
so you
all the
guys can
different
download it if you
influences
want to
and
continue.
styles of gameplay, but I'd
But
say
yeah,
we're
we'll be taking
probably
down
a
the current one.
survival action horror game.
Okay. Cool. And what was the thinking behind that genre? Is it something that you guys like, or is it just it came left field? What's your decision behind that?
Personally, we always wanted to make a horror game.
That's true, Fighter.
A big part of our core team have a background in third-person sandbox games, and we really wanted to combine, action mechanics, deep storytelling, and we felt that the horror genre was a really exciting space to take that background and play around with.
So, kind of sticking with the horror genre, why did you decide to go with that theme? It's not really like normally what you would see, this whole spiritual awakening thing. So, what was the idea behind that?
We thought it was just kind of an interesting territory to explore.
One to entertain you when you're on Iron. I mean, the next Minecraft server we do is going to be a modded one, so it should be a lot more fun.
And Giallo horror and so forth that
Nice,
really,
Kakashi.
really inspired us more from a film standpoint. And taking that kind of aesthetic, something that was very sensational, very colorful, and mixing
Not sure,
it
Iron.
with
We're about like a month away from doing that, so we'll still have the current server for probably close to a month or something.
Was a fresh
Still be
take
messing
on
about
that
on it.
horror space.
So, kind of speaking about your inspirations and stuff, what video games, real life media has inspired you to create this title?
Well, going way back when Resident Evil 2 is one of my
Yep.
favorite games.
Yeah,
of
I
all
make
time.
about 250
Alone in the Dark
per sub.
Eternal Darkness. So a lot of
$2.50.
games are very inspirational to us. Our game actually started off.
It'll be a Java
as
server
game,
again.
with fixed camera angles and so forth, and then we over the course of development.
So do you think
especially
they
focusing
must?
on
They
bringing
have to
more
show
of an
something for the
action
game.
element to it. We
At least some
can switch
concept
to an
art, you know?
over-the-shoulder camera and have
This is a lot of talking if they were just like, all right, sounds good, and to the next
what
game.
you guys are doing on the development side. How close is the game to like the original concept? I understand you guys are still developing. The game's quite far out, but from your original concept to where the game
Oh,
is
they
now,
might not
how
show
much has
anything.
that differed?
The core story and I'd say the aesthetic and the themes, those all remain intact. I'd say our
Thanks for the drink,
gameplay,
Kakashi.
As our team size grew, we added deeper mechanics. I'd say more action to the game. Our game actually has a fair amount of combat in it, especially on the melee side. Those were things that weren't too prevalent.
Yeah,
in our original
I don't think we're gonna
concept,
use
and,
that Iron. I'm not sure.
a lot of
We're
those
gonna
things
use
are
some
just
type of
kind
mod pack that has
based
a whole
on,
bunch of mods in it.
We're a very small team at first. We're still a relatively small team, but every new person that joins, brings something new to the mix. So I'd say on that end, the game has evolved in scope and depth of gameplay.
Awesome.
So I wonder how big their team
Sticking
is.
on that point of, you got a
It's
small
just like a
team,
couple
there's a lot of
dozen
challenges
or
that comes
less
with
than
that.
100.
What's the hardest part of making the game so far?
The hardest part.
Oh, real life
was
craft? I
probably
see.
Trying to make a game that has more realistic production values, because that's where our background comes from. On a smaller scale and budget. So for us, we had to be very strategic. Utilizing Unreal, we wouldn't have been able to build this game without utilizing an engine.
You can't
like
punch
Unreal.
trees? Yeah, that doesn't
Previously, we
sound
worked
fun.
on more proprietary technology. And that's also great because new people that join the team can get up and running on the engine quite quickly.
Nice.
In addition to that, we've been using photogrammetry from the start. for both our environments. All of our characters are.
Why do you have so much anger in your body, fighter? That's not
We're
healthy.
using, also tapping into a lot of what's going on in our city. Vancouver has a pretty big film industry, so really tapping into the.
Oh, they're based in
the effects
Vancouver.
industry
Interesting.
And, tapping into that area of expertise to
Get flint from the ground and make tools like. Oh, that's weird, Kakashi.
As efficiently as possible.
So you've mentioned like experience in the past and also kind of how rich Vancouver is. How much does that come in handy when you're working on the game?
Oh, it's been extremely beneficial. Vancouver, is home to a lot of AAA studios.
Yep.
A large portion of us work
Ubisoft's
together
is
at,
huge up there in
Rockstar and
Vancouver.
United Front Games, and we also have people who have worked at the Coalition and EA, as well as some smaller independent studios as well. And in addition to that, having the film industry here, where we can utilize local talent. We're working with union actors. We're scanning actors as well that we're using for our characters, and we're actually currently auditioning a couple remaining characters for the game, and as well as doing the finishing touches on our new motion capture studio. So we're going to be.
Jeez, they're doing motion capture as well.
Cinematics push over the
Wow.
That's a really exciting.
All right, this is a big budget game.
Sounds great. In terms of exciting things, when it comes to this game, what are you most proud of at the minute where you are?
I think the thing I'm the most proud of is just what a small focused team can do when they're all sharing the same goal.
I hope it has an art style and isn't just going for like realistic. I hope it has a certain style to it.
Backgrounds, but everyone's managed to come together and really deliver an amazing amount of work for the team size we have. And it's really exciting to be working on a smaller team
Raid
again.
Shadow Legends.
And just having that kind of energy where you're working with everyone on the team day to day.
Yeah, I imagine that is a lot different to probably what some of you.
It's like a mobile game, Iron.
Studios. So finally, what are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch, and also being featured on their brand?
Koch Media.
It's truly an exciting place to be. We've been kind of pushing our game as far as we could, and this partnership is really helping to provide more reach and more resources, but I think most importantly also just having a partnership on getting feedback and helping to really expand and push the vision of the game.
Push it.
We've already received a lot of feedback on the title, and being a small team, we're often in our own little echo chamber, and even in a short period of time, we've been able to act on a lot of the feedback, and the game has improved considerably since then.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for your time. It's been awesome to talk to you and find out a little bit more about what you guys are going to be.
They're not going to show anything?
And I can't wait to let gamers finally get their hands on the content. So thank you for your time.
From
wow, they didn't show anything. What the heck? Not even concept art.
Open world of Bohemia and took us on an adventure through the Holy Roman Empire. However, there have been some leaks that this action RPG may have a home on the Switch.
Feedback on title? What is it? What do you mean?
To try and get to the bottom of this.
Kingdom Come Deliverance on the Switch. That is quite some news.
Jeez.
Yes, that's true.
Everybody was. This was rumored to be happening on the Switch for the longest time.
Gamers, devs, and games. In our case, or in this case, actually gamers play an integral part in the story.
What do you mean?
Well,
oh, what they were talking about? It was a brand new game with a survival horror.
Studios were preparing the
spiritual survival horror. They didn't show anything for it.
Xbox, but someone most likely ticked the wrong box in Japan, and it looked like it's going to be released on Switch as well. Of course, by that time there was nothing existing like that. We were not even thinking about the possibility that Kingdom Come Deliverance could go on the Switch. However, Nintendo Japan took this information, some Japanese media, and then the snowball started rolling. All of a sudden it was the talk of the day. Kingdom Come Deliverance is releasing on the Switch, but as I said, nothing like that was planned at all, and we didn't even think about that.
That's crazy.
Now, a few months back, and we think it's it was still somehow cursing around in the Nintendo database. Nintendo of Spain posted a picture on Twitter where they had different pictures of open world games, and they were promoting already existing open world games on the Nintendo store. And if you clicked on the picture, actually you couldn't, there was nothing like Kingdom Come Deliverance, of course not, because
Pretty much Kakashi.
nothing like that is existing. However, again, it created confusion. People were talking about it again, like, okay, so is it coming, is it not coming? But for us, actually, and as I said, we didn't think about that until that time. For us, we started to think. There's a lot of interest, there's a lot of buzz. People are actually talking about us, reaching out to us, like they seem to want Kingdom Come Deliverance on the Nintendo Switch. So we started to think. And since we are already in the Koch Media family, or the Embracer family, and there's a lot of talented studios, so is Saber Interactive. And who but them would be actually capable of bringing the Kingdom Come Deliverance version on the Switch? So we sat together, and now we are here.
Yeah, Saber Interactive ported Witcher 3 to the Switch, I believe, as well.
Is that a community of gamers made this happen?
More or less, yes.
Hey, Army.
Community feedback we got, of course, was a big drive for
Neb
this
is, I think
project.
Neb's here, Iron.
This comes from our general background.
He might just have us on in the
think of
background.
Kickstarter project we had in the day. So without the community, there wouldn't be any Warhorse Studios or any Kingdom Come Deliverance. So we always try to be very close to them and working together with them, and even coming up with crazy ideas together with them. So, for instance, the Savior Schnapps, our own liquor we created later, was actually a community idea. We have our own beer brand. We recently released a blue brick set, like a building set for Kingdom Come Deliverance buildings.
Wow.
And now one of the latest projects is the Kingdom Come
Nice,
Deliverance soap bar, which
Oh my God.
should give you the real medieval smell.
These guys are
In that case,
diversifying.
I must say, it actually medieval smells actually pretty well. And we are coming up with crazy stuff like that all the time. Our next new merchandise project is a Farkle boxed board game, kind of. So Farkle, for those who don't know, that's like this Kingdom Come Deliverance minigame, a dice minigame you can play in the game. And now with Griffon Studios, we are coming up with a boxed version.
I played that game way too much. The minigame.
Against your friends or against your family or whatever. So that's pretty cool if you ask me.
I mean, it's a good trend, Army. If we can tell as many gamers to like take showers and actually smell clean, the better. It'll just make cons better.
Favorite soapy hot news. Speaking of soapy hot news, how do you feel about Warhorse being under the new label Prime Matter?
It's a huge honor, of course. We were working together with Koch for over 4 years already. In 2019, we then even became part of the entire Embracer family. So that was a big thing.
Embracer.
Now being able to take part at the beginning of something new, be there.
A gamer
when there's a
bath
new
girl
label
water.
being created. That is a big thing for us. And especially if you consider that we come there as an established partner already, that is really cool, and we are looking forward to a bright future.
Thank you very much.
Ooh, coming up,
We cannot
Final
see
Form.
what Warhorse has got cooking. However, until that time, Toby, goodbye.
So are we. Thank you very much, and see you.
From
Bye,
internet
Toby.
rumors back to reality, we will have more on Kingdom Come Deliverance for Switch as we get it.
1-to-1 scale of your house.
RPGs to FPS games. Final Form, which is a working title, is an action-packed sci-fi adventure where you play the role of a humanoid avatar of a sentient spaceship sent on a mission to the edge of the known universe to battle an unstoppable plague.
$1.
The game is still a long ways from completion, but here's a very quick peek at what's in store.
Oh, finally some gameplay. Or at least some cutscene or whatever. Something. Whoa, what the heck? Just a little ball. This looks wicked fast-paced. Was someone calling me on Discord? I don't believe so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Hi, we are Raycon Games, and what you have just seen is the first
Raycon.
glimpse of our upcoming game codenamed Final Form.
Final Form is an action-packed, epic sci-fi FPS in which you are a female-formed humanoid machine on a space mission with no return.
Yeah, it might have been on your end, Army.
At the heart of the game is a mystery and alien worlds to explore, but also an adrenaline-fueled combat. In Final Form, it's all about the freedom and power of movement, being a machine unrestrained by human weaknesses. There are numerous abilities and gadgets that come with your robotic body.
This looks pretty cool.
Give yourself away to the fantasy of becoming an unstoppable cybernetic goddess, blazing away in a spectacular ballet of destruction.
The studio.
Raycon is located in Warsaw, Poland, with additional team members located all over the world. The studio was founded and is managed entirely by game developers. Since the success of Ruiner, we've grown quite substantially. Currently, Raycon is over 50 brilliant game creators.
Ooh, over 50.
We are not a huge team, but what we love to do is to evolve together with our projects, constantly finding smarter and better ways to achieve something truly unique. We build our work environment just like we make games, aiming for the best results and personal fulfillment.
I wonder if it's going to be free to play.
The well-being of team members needs to be taken care of first, before we can pour all of that love into a game.
Like, first-person shooters are so hard to make popular nowadays unless it starts out as free.
Inspiring. We're happy to be in the avant-garde of the upcoming new label. We're looking forward to share more on Final Form in the future. And in the meantime, please enjoy the rest of the show and see you around.
Thank you. I'll see you around. Oh, they're using Unreal Engine. Nice.
I have to say, guys, I love the soundtrack from Final Form. Moving on to our next game, which is just as special.
Yeah, Fortnite's crazy how popular it is.
Gaggerous themes and mixed it all together.
And continues to be popular, really.
Elements. That's exactly what Massive Works Studios are doing. I got to sit down with their CTO to talk about their game, Dolmen.
Dolmen? There's a free gold building in the server? Yeah, I saw that yesterday. Oh yeah, and the new Fortnite season came out. What was it? I think Tuesday? Or Monday? Forget which day it was. Oh, this looks reminiscent of Returnal. But it looks cool. It's like if Returnal and Doom had a baby, we'd get this. Oh, it came out on the 8th. So yeah, Tuesday. Well, that thing's big. Dolmen. You got 54 free gold from the free. Nice iron.
To Gabriel Ferreira, CTO of Massive Works Studios, who joins us now from Campinas near Sao Paulo in the southeast of Brazil. So, Gabriel, what is Dolmen about?
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here and to participate.
Get the QR code.
So let me tell a little bit about.
Might be a little too small.
Dolmen is that kind of game.
Yep. Yeah, I went to it yesterday,
you
Aaron.
Need to save everyone from an alien threat. Fighting with all kinds of monsters and struggling to keep going forward. Yeah, that's the kind of game that Dolmen is not about. In this game, you actually save the drillers, which is the
Yep, I got quite a bit.
That live on that planet, but you're going there to help.
It'll be a Rickroll.
Its investment.
No.
So you're not really the nice guy that's trying to save everyone. It's just a job. But we hope that the players consider the humanity, the greed, the war, and the spares and the challenges that come to mind along with that job. Taking all that part, and yes, Dolmen is also about fighting all kinds of monsters and struggling. After all, it is a hard game. It's a hardcore game. It's inspired on Souls-like, so yes, you're going to die a lot.
Oh, weird. I
Thank you. So when
didn't think
you
it
thinking
was a
about the name
Souls-like from the
Dolmen,
trailer at
obviously
all.
you guys went for that for like a very specific reason. What's the thinking behind the name? Why did
Yeah,
you
I got
go
it
for
on
Dolmen?
Stream Iron.
So there was many things that came to our mind when describing the name of the game. Dolmen, which means a single chamber.
When? I don't know.
Tomb, a megalithic
Like
tomb.
right around when I started playing
Tomb
Minecraft
would
yesterday.
be a good word to describe this stone, this crystal that we have that is related to that. In many ways, everyone that deals with this crystal in the game is close to bringing problems to everyone that is around. And we wanted this to be the main piece of the game.
Cool. Awesome. And now I know
Sounds
that
interesting.
people may or may not have heard of Dolmen before, so it is already out there in the world. But how long has it taken to get to this point?
Oh, it's been a long journey since the beginning of the project. We started at late 2016, so
Jeez, it's been almost 5 years.
5 years now, and probably just a bit more till it come out.
Wow.
But we and about our journey, if it wasn't the support that we had since the beginning,
I think the poster says 2021.
and you
Hard
guys,
to tell.
I believe, would not be here right now.
Lovely. How have you been inspired by other games? You mentioned like the Souls-like obviously inspires it. You know, are there other games that inspire you? And also, what games do the teams like?
First of all, regarding inspirations, a lot of games came to us when we were producing the game and when we were first thinking of it. Obviously, we are really passionate and we really love Souls-like games. So Bloodborne, Dark Souls.
I like that he started with Bloodborne. That's a good choice.
Were our main inspirations, but we drew inspirations from all different kind of sources. So we had inspirations in Dead Space, in Mass Effect, and also not only inspirations in other games, but also inspirations in movies and Lovecraftian stories.
I'm surprised you didn't say Doom,
For example,
because the environments really reminded me of some of the Doom environments.
About games that we most like and games that our team.
I had to unpublish the stream from yesterday, Iron, because of copyrighted stuff.
We have a team that ranges from liking Dota to CS and Souls-like games. But what I can really tell you is that everyone of our team is passionate about the project because they love doing what they do, which is a hard.
Oh my God, Kakashi, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that makes sense as well.
That's crazy.
Dolmen, all these inspirations that have come in. So the game is set in a sci-fi universe. Is there any?
Oh, nothing really happened, Iron. I just went in,
to go down that route.
didn't fall into the pit, and just grabbed it from the door.
Yeah. Well, the humans are afraid of what they don't know, and the universe has infinite possibilities. There is always something unknown that we can explore in space. So that
yeah, a pit opens up when you open up the chest.
Really was something that we could use to throw everything that our insane minds could come with. So we wanted to use the sci-fi as a tool to reach this goal, to present the player a world of unknown that he can fear and he can enjoy it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's hard to see it when you open up the inventory.
On the point of humans and Earth, you guys are based in Brazil, which is awesome. Are there any?
Oh, a Brazilian studio. Interesting.
Development because of that, or just in general?
Yeah,
video game consoles down there cost like insane amounts of money because of import fees and stuff like that.
We obviously had to adapt our workflow in these late years. So
Jesus, Kakashi.
And 2021 was a really challenge for us, but it was something that we could adapt well, especially because even that we're based in Brazil, we're not only based in a single location in Brazil. We have people spread across the country. So it was easy enough to overcome that challenge. But there were several challenges since getting development kits and finding
Oh, they have dev kits so that it's going on
people
console.
that are really capable of helping us to deliver this amazing game, and that's what we gathered, and that's something that our company appreciates the most and really gives value is the people that we work with. They were really incredible people, and they were really rare over here.
Absolutely, that's really cool. Kind of on that theme of development and challenges, given how development and technology often dictates how a game evolves throughout its development.
So this is basically their first presentation as Prime Matter Publishing.
Well, there are different point of views.
So if they do more, hopefully they get better, because the pacing
especially
on this
because we started
isn't as good as
really
typical,
small.
game
The journey of the
conferences.
game, for example,
It's just like a little
it
too much
started as a
interview.
concept from
Like the
a
interview
few
to
friends that
game
get together and
percentage is way off.
brainstormed it for months.
At best,
the
it should
game.
be like interview at
So
most
it diverged
20,
into
30%.
senses.
And then
one of
gameplay
them,
or just
when
game
we first
cinematics,
thought of the
70 to
game,
80%.
game
This is
was
way too much. This is like the
it's
inverse of
huge
that.
and is insane and has a lot of background on it.
Yeah, exactly, Kakashi.
It has all this universe around it. So,
But like I
a
said, this
lot
is their
of it
first one,
has
so
been built.
they
So
have plenty of
people
room
that
to grow.
loves lore and loves the universe that we are creating, they will have a lot to explore on that side. But the game and from its original concept evolved a lot, especially now that we have more tools at our disposal. So on the tech side, it advanced way better than we imagined. Back 2016, we didn't have all the resources that we have now. So of course, we made some sacrifices here there, and in order to achieve our goal, but we're never happy with satisfied at that point of satisfaction. We want to reach more. At the end of the day, this is also a game, and we are having fun. But on top of all, we want to make a brilliant game for the player.
Absolutely. And speaking about like making the game and the development of the game, seeing as you are lead programmer as well, what was the hardest part of making the actual game?
I believe that we could
Everything.
have gone into different options. Especially, for example, we could have wanted to make it a game that was simpler or smaller or not have that many hours of gameplay. But we decided to go to a hardcore game, even that's a first game of our company. So we decided to go full in into that challenge.
Man,
we faced a lot of challenges.
good luck to them, but like all these studios coming out with
I believe the
Souls-like
hardest part
games
of the game was
as their first
finding
game,
the correct
they really need
professionals
to nail it. So
and
I wish them the best.
focusing
Because as soon as you
on what
compare
we were
yourself to
doing
Dark
and,
Souls, Bloodborne,
keeping
you
yourself
just get
focused
cut
for
down
5
if you're
years
not
on
good.
a
So I
single game is
really hope they
something
do a good
that
job
is
with this.
challenging for
They've been at it
everyone,
for 5 years,
especially
so
right
I
now.
expect they will, but
So
good luck
was
to them.
a difficult decision, but we wanted to make that. Regarding programming, and as
Kakashi.
a programmer,
Yeah, if you guys want to
there's
go
a
talk
lot
on the
of,
Discord
that
with
I
Kakashi,
keep talking and talking about what is the
link should be in the chat soon.
multiplayer is always challenging, but finding that balancing fit, so the game that is not unfair, but is hard. So we wanted to aim hardcore players. So this was really something that was hard.
So you mentioned like 5 years of development, which is a crazy long time.
It must come out this
have you
year.
kept yourself motivated? How have the team kept themselves?
Yeah, that's a rough iron.
I won't
Hey,
say
Bird.
it was easy, because it wasn't. But I would say that most of all, we were always having this these meetings in order to play the game. Even now that we are remote, we keep getting up every day and making a meeting and showcasing what we are doing and working alongside each one of us. Also, a lot of things that happened during before COVID was
I know, I'm
the
sure
events.
COVID
The events
threw them
always
off.
made us super happy. So showcasing the game to everyone and getting the players to play the game and see how they react, it was something incredible for us. It really made us feel proud of what we were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like everyone's missing that event feeling, right? When you actually get to see people on the games and you're like, oh wow, everyone's loving our games. I think it's something that everyone is missing, definitely. Speaking of kind of motivation and happy times,
Come on, gameplay.
proud of this game? What have you guys worked on that you're like, yeah, we did that?
I believe that the universe.
Someone took it from your inventory? That's not a thing that we can do.
From it. So, for example, we even
COVID delayed everything.
That we prepared. We have a lot of story.
Like Elden Ring coming out January next year. That's gonna get delayed. I can't imagine that's actually gonna hit the date.
This game that we made and achieving what we did is what makes us feel proud. And now that we have partnered with you, getting to expand that universe and getting to get closer to our original concept and what we meant for it, that is something that makes us really happy.
Cool. Awesome. Speaking of partnership with us, what are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch on their brand new label?
That's really that's really a amazing feeling for us. Koch really helped us and takes care of the operation that we couldn't make it for ourselves. They have an amazing team of QA localization, so we can reach different countries and players everywhere. We have a great producer that worked with us, helping us reach our goals.
Like I get why they did these interviews, because a lot of the questions are, how excited are you for working with Prime Matter? And then the devs are always, it's great. They have almost so much help. So it's basically like a commercial to show other developers like, hey, look at Prime Matter as the publishing. Like when we come to talk to you, we're good people.
And to meet you as well.
So I see why they're doing it, but
thank you.
Maybe it could have been marketed better.
Absolutely. We are so happy to have you guys on board. And more importantly, I am so excited to actually let people play this game at some point under this new label. So thank you so much for your time, Gabriel. It's been awesome talking to you. And yeah, let's...
King's Bounty 2 coming up.
At some point under the new label. Thank you for your time and see you later.
Thank you. See you.
Now,
she's a good presenter, though.
The title from Prime Matter will be the beautiful, highly anticipated King's Bounty 2. We have a first look at the gameplay trailer, and then Opal got a chance to sit down and talk with CEO Nikolai Baryshnikov.
I never played the first King's Bounty.
Is off.
Is it worth playing?
Our land, Nostria, dances on the knife's edge of fate.
This looks good.
King Claudius, my father, cannot lead, and his absence has set the realm in motion. Something is coming. Now the burden of the crown falls onto me. Nostria was flourishing, but there is unrest.
It used to be beautiful here.
Statue gave you Lord of the Ring vibes. Yeah, I like the look of this. It looks pretty cool.
Conspiracy, sabotage, necromancy. They all threaten this land asunder. But we must unite, for distorted terrors are advancing. Rumors tell.
Oh, that thing was creepy.
Putting our hope in something that does not exist. A seer foretells that our savior is among us.
But what was the first
People
King's
of
Bounty?
Austria, you
King's
laid
Bounty.
faith in my father. Do so to me.
Oh, it was like an isometric
Towards the horizon. Fight back
RPG.
the darkness, and preserve the light of our land. For Nostria.
August 24th, okay. So, So I wonder if that one was isometric as well.
And I am joined
It certainly
by
didn't look like it.
Nikolai Barinshnikov from 1C Entertainment.
See what the CEO says.
CEO and creator of King's Bounty 2. So King's Bounty has been years in development and has a 30-year pedigree. So what is it that makes King's Bounty 2 so
Chat's just watching along right now.
Was a grandfather of games of series like Heroes of Might and Magic. So it created these turn-based gameplay when we have a hex-based battlefield and the troops are moving in turns.
You're playing another game right now?
You know, like chess pieces on the board.
Yeah, we'll be playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart after this.
The cornerstone of King's Bounty.
Absolutely, and kind of speaking about that, and I know as you mentioned, the first King's Bounties was 1990, and then you had the King's Bounty that you guys created in the 2000s. What technical improvements now that we're in 2021 are you most excited about implementing?
No Jackbox this week.
Well, I'm a huge fan of the core aspect of the game with tactical battles, and if in the previous games the battlefield was always a flat surface. So now we're bringing the battlefield into 3D. So we will have, line of sights, shield.
So I think from the way he's talking, it still sounds like it's going to be isometric.
Archers allocated on the hill that will do like extra damage for the high ground, etc. So moving the battlefield to 3D.
But I still can't tell.
A huge step forward. And then the whole role-playing part, the exploration part, we decided to move more towards games like Fable or Mass Effect, kind of epic, big role-playing games, as opposed to have a top-down kind of isometric view of tiny little character on a horse just galloping around the map. So
it must be like third person.
Fantasy adventure.
From that camera work, it had to be. I can't imagine it's still isometric.
This is one of the biggest.
Yeah, this week went by fast.
We've done in Moscow so far.
But I'll be live tomorrow and Sunday as well.
Will this King's Bounty 2 follow
so you have that to look forward to?
of the games, or will it be a standalone title?
No, the game will not follow on any previous games. But even the previous King's Bounty, they all sort of like disconnected. There was like the main protagonist, there are a bunch of evil guys. There's like a small quest. And I would say that a previous King's Bounty, it was not like an epic RPG adventure, so the game was more about just battling random monsters on the map and solving some little quests. And then King's Bounty 2 is
this one especially, Bird?
A epic adventure. We had spent like dozens of hours solving puzzles, working with different factions, making decisions that change the character and the world. So we're really moving much more towards an epic RPG. However, this is a rare combination where our game, King's Bounty, is not an action RPG. It's not a Witcher game where you have to, quickly press buttons on your joysticks and battle enemies in the field. It's interesting crossbreed of a high fantasy role-playing game with a tactical
role-playing game
strategy title, which it's not like quote unquote was never done on console, but this is fairly unique combination for the console. And for me, like a great inspiration was a modern remake of XCOM, for example, because I was a huge fan of XCOM that was released in 1994, 1996, and the modern console reinventing of XCOM. This is something we're trying to achieve with King's Bounty, really make a modern game that works well on modern platforms, that works well with current understanding of gamers, how a game should look like. So we're trying to...
There's a picture with ceramics on round 1. Must be a custom match.
Kind of speaking about the story of King's Bounty 2 and how it differs, it appears to have a darker, more gritty aesthetic compared to its predecessors. What was the design philosophy around that? Why did you decide to go with that instead?
That's an interesting question. We've been debating on the design approach.
The heck? That was
And again, as I said,
that was on
we
the
spent a lot
stream.
of time prototyping, working on the core gameplay and the looks and the art of the game. Previous game had this more
There's a
cartoonish
bunker
kind
iron?
of
What do you mean by there's a
fantasy
bunker?
indie look, but we decided we are now trying to play in different league. We're trying to make a much bigger title, a big game, an epic adventure. We've been
Oh, a trap. Oh,
astonished
okay.
by modern fantasy titles both in Hollywood and in games, and we thought that this is a good idea actually to upgrade King's Bounty to what we call like high fantasy or like realistic fantasy. So it's not a dark fantasy like Kingdom Come when they're like dirty peasants, everything is bad. No, it's more like, as I said, like high fantasy. Epic characters. If there's a dragon, it looks like a dragon, not like a toy. If there's a villain, he or she looks like a real.
Oh, on the gold trap. I see. I see.
The main philosophy. Plus, game development evolves, and I don't think that it's a good idea to take a game of 2008 and just make a replica with slightly enhanced graphics in 2021. So we need, especially for consoles, there's a specific
consoles
expectation from somebody coming to the store or buying the game digitally or online. Okay, this is like a 49.59 game. It has to look graphically and gameplay wise like this. There's an expectation, and we believe that that's what we have to do.
Yeah, so we've mentioned that this game combines different kind of like ways that you can play the game, basically, from third-person RPG elements to this unique fighting system, this kind of chess-like fighting system. Kind of, why did you choose, with the evolution of game design and how people play games, why did you choose to stick to these hybrid game mechanics? Do you think that this is kind of what makes King's Bounty?
Absolutely. I think you got it spot on, so I don't even need to answer. King's Bounty.
I added the 2 streams for tomorrow to my schedule, so you guys can see when I'm going live Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be live for big chunks of the day, watching conferences that are going to be better than this. There's going to be a lot more gameplay in them. Especially the Xbox and Bethesda conference on Sunday. That should be a really good conference.
Role-playing aspects and high fantasy aspects.
Saturday is probably going to be like 6 or 7 hours, and then Sunday is going to be 7 or 8 hours.
Gamers who
so long days.
RPG with shooting elements, games like Cyberpunk. This King's Bounty is probably not for them. I'm sorry, it's a different game.
Yeah, and in terms of we've mentioned kind of this new 3D world that you're creating when it comes to the fighting style.
But if you miss any of them, I'll be uploading them as YouTube videos, so you can always check out the YouTube channel. Watch them after the fact if you miss them live.
Making the game, what took the longest time? What kind of caused you the most headaches?
Hard to say. First of all, this multiple
2 months, almost 3 months, Kakashi. Nice.
Specific technical issues that prolong the development. If you make just, let's say, a PC title or just a PlayStation game, then you are not having a headache of porting to different platforms, getting different specifications, TCRs, approvals. So that adds a lot. And then secondly, the production itself. As soon as we went,
I know I would have thought longer as well. Iron with 3 months, 2 days, nice.
Isometric view into a 3D high fantasy and the production of assets. So we wanted to build like a huge map. We wanted to populate this map with a lot of characters that would just move around, go somewhere, have their own like stories. Then we decided to, instead of having like text dialogues, we decided to produce a lot of
yeah, you guys were within a couple days of each other, it seems like.
Story to explain what was going on. So we even had to buy our motion capture studio. We worked with like dozens of actors, and there are hours and hours and hours of in-game based cutscenes, which in the past could be just dialogues and pieces of text. That was another huge complication.
No, absolutely. And then the final question, what are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch and being on their brand
See, everyone they add, every developer.
Provides us,
how do you like working with Koch? How do you like working with Prime Matter?
Because
And these questions are, or the answers to those questions are directed straight at other devs. Because the consumer like us, we don't give a shit really, you know? They want this to hit other developers and say, hey, maybe we should reach out to Prime Matter, see if they can publish our game. They sound like they're cool to work with.
From production people, testing, localization, manufacturing retail units, putting all this, units into the retail shops in the world, making mass market communications. So we decided to cooperate with Koch Media.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good marketing strategy, but I wish they had been more forthcoming about what this conference was or what this presentation was.
If we do it just ourselves,
Even if they just had, so the interviews wouldn't be bad if it was both of their heads on the screen, so him on the left or right with her next to him, and just in two separate boxes, and then to just have gameplay behind them, or even just shrink their screens and have gameplay playing just as they're talking. Because just seeing someone talking straight is just like boring.
That's it. Thank you so much for your time.
It would have been much more interactive, even if they just had motion graphics behind them. But just switching between the two cameras doesn't make for a good presentation like this.
We have 12 titles.
Yeah, exactly, Kakashi. That's what I mean, just talking over gameplay. Even if they were given the same exact interview, if they just had gameplay playing at the same time, it would be vastly better.
Speaks to me on a gaming level unlike any other. This third-person action-adventure shooter will keep you up at night tossing and turning with its horrific, nightmarish creatures. Think Alice in Wonderland meets Alien, or as one US...
Well, that's a weird combo.
Tomb Standing. Guys, sit back, relax, grab a pillow, because you get a world-exclusive look at Scars Above.
Good job.
Yeah, it's not necessarily boring, but it could be better, and that's why I just say they have room to improve, which is good. I mean, this is their first presentation, so. All right, world premiere.
Telemetry check.
Telemetry check. Here go.
She has a bit of a Lara Croft vibe.
Wow. How is this possible? What planet is this? How did I end up here? Log entry. The gate has an internal conduction system. The
I like the UI.
rim seems sensitive. A targeted blast of electricity should cause a reaction.
Oh, a light machete.
The debris. It's from Hermes. It must have splintered off as it entered the atmosphere.
A surprise, but a welcome one. Is this a swamp from Avatar?
Yeah. It's still intact.
It really reminds me of Returnal. A lot.
What the hell was that?
It's like a poison aura. Similar to Subnautica, I can see that.
The creature has multiple salivary
I'd agree.
glands in its thoracic region that seem to produce a highly venomous secretion.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Wow. The whole place is covered with some kind of organic residue.
Ugh, that reminds me of the stuff in Soma.
Robinson managed to connect the MPU to the pillar.
All right, we got some crafting. Subnautica, just less water.
Let me get through that tissue webbing, and I'm taking the MPU.
Well, that was a cool gun. Oh, waited too long. Oh, he just injected that in her neck. I wonder if this is procedural. If the map changes.
Towering monuments to serve a purpose.
Scorpion
or as a
Man.
Testament to their might. Were they looking for answers or solving a problem? Oh my god!
Probably trying to get off the planet. Look at these things. Who would want to live on this planet? It's like a rock gorilla. That's a really cool creature design.
This thing was huge.
With tiny little feet. Yeah, this is just an extended gameplay section, which is really cool. Ooh, environmental puzzle stuff. What the heck? Oh, he's coming. Chonky Fireboy.
The appendages are dripping.
Ew.
With fluid that's freezing the water.
Whoa, look at that brain.
Neural pathways leading to various organs. The pseudocerebrum seems to be generating an electrical charge.
This game looks pretty cool. I'll play this.
This neural pathway is conducting
And it looks pretty far along. I wonder if it's coming this year.
This gland is secreting the cryogenic fluid that's freezing the water. The cocktail of digestive acids is dissolving local plant life into homogeneous matter. The process seems to be aided by bioelectricity.
Oh, we didn't get the conclusion. Whoa, you can freeze? That's cool. You can make ice to keep going across. Ew. Not the rock gorilla. Oh, the rock rhino. Oh, it had like its heart ripped out or something. An ice gun.
That really was something. And last week, Opal had a chance to talk to the developers, Mad Head Games, and ask them what their game was all about.
Mad Head
Hello there, guys. Joining me now from Novi Sad in Serbia is Ivan Zorkic, game director at Mad Head Games, who's going to tell us all about his new project. So, Ivan, what's Scars Above all about?
Yeah, so just imagine these two people side by side, separate camera views, you know.
An alien object appears near
You just take these, shrink them down, and then they just had the gameplay they just showed us, just playing behind them.
Close range scan.
It would be so much better.
For some reason that I don't want to go into now, this results in them like in an event.
Looks like a comfy chair though.
Which causes them to be transported to an unknown alien planet. So our protagonist, Kate Ward, who is a mission specialist, she's an astrobiologist with a background in engineering. She's one of the members of the team of astronauts, of the team called SCAR team, which is Sentient Contact Assessment and Response. So she is on the ship doing the scan, and she.
Oh, he has the PlayStation 5 headset in the lower right.
So one moment she's with her team in the ship, and the other moment she's on this strange planet alone.
Go for it, Iron.
She explores. She finds out that her team is also stranded on the planet. She has to find them first. And it seems that some time has passed. She doesn't understand why. And also the planet is very hostile. So there's a bunch of dangerous creatures, monsters, and everything seems to want to kill her and the rest of her crew. So she needs to find out what's going on, solve this mystery. How did they end up here? What does this planet want from them? And the story unravels, and she actually learns about the place.
You put your stuff in the ender chest. Go for it, Iron.
Behind it, but it's all about like being stranded on this kind of scary, but also in a way strangely beautiful world, and facing a lot of nasty creatures and monsters.
Yeah, so it's like kind of keeping on that theme of the realm of possibility and whatnot. How much in the game has its roots in the real world, and how much is just plain crazy sci-fi?
Well, it's mostly sci-fi, but the themes come from the real world. So they're inspired by the real world. I think the best stories come from the real world, even if they're about, as I said, dragons or fairy tales, and of course spaceships and space exploration. Like there's always this component. So on one level, Scars Above is about reason versus terror. And this is a very important topic to me. And that's a very real world topic for me. Like in our world, a lot of bad things come out of fear. And this fear, gives birth to some unreasonably dark actions, which lead to more bad things and more fear and more bad things. And in a way, Scars Above is like, for me, a metaphor for reason standing up against terror, science against darkness, knowledge against ignorance.
So apart from kind of staying within sci-fi,
spitting facts,
kind of opening up the possibility that this can actually happen makes sci-fi what it is there any other important reason to you to keep, that sense of realism still there in the game?
So there is there is a reason to keep realism, but I think the better word is to make it believable. So if you go for absolute realism, you're kind of limited on what you can tell, the story you can tell. It kind of is like there is fiction element to the sci-fi, right? But we want to make it believable.
It's a nice gray accent wall behind him too.
Is because I would like to create.
It's like a nice room.
What if vibe.
I like it.
If people actually ask themselves, like, what if this really happened? What would I do if I were suddenly stranded somewhere on this strange, far away from home world, surrounded with monsters and terrors? Like, if you make this believable, people might actually think more about it. So we don't want to go like super realistic. But we do want to make it believable, so that because immersion is really important, so that people get immersed in this world and start thinking like, what would I do if I was in this situation? And what if this was really like, what if this happens someday? What if an alien object does appear near Earth someday, and what would happen?
Absolutely. And then you mentioned the lead protagonist, Kate Ward. You told about her job title. What else about her? Who is she? Why is she?
Kate is awesome. We love her. So Kate is a very strong.
We love Kate.
And very capable, but also a very caring person. So she's an astronaut. She's a scientist, a team member, a colleague, an explorer, and she always has like this childlike.
Your sister. Wait, what?
Curiosity. But
nice room. It is a nice room. Look at that bird.
A warrior, like
your sister finished her exams and has 3 months.
So she's not like a space commando.
Vacation.
And she does end up in a situation.
She hasn't been
where, she needs
vaccinated.
To, fight for her life.
if
So
she's vaccinated,
that's
you
a
don't really
theme
need to
that's
worry about
kinda,
it.
like really interesting to us. Because the fact that she's not a trained combatant doesn't mean she's not
Same bird.
capable. So she
I would
has
think
like
so
a
too.
strong will, a sharp mind,
At least like
and
online
she's very
interactions,
brave and tough. But
whether that's
like,
through
she's under
calls
tremendous
or
stress
text.
in our game, and we want to show how vulnerable
Oh, she's
she is,
15,
how
so it's not
scared she is,
authorized
how
for
distressed.
people that young yet. Is
Because
that the problem?
true courage doesn't, it doesn't come out of lack of fear. It comes in face of fear. So we do want to show this fear, and it's actually like this. The fact that she's overcoming this, like fighting her emotions, fighting all the stress, that makes her courageous, and that's great. So she gets frightened, she fights her emotions. She's susceptible to panic, which I think kind of makes her relatable. Like she's not like
Oh, it is, and so
I'm all
so why
out
doesn't
of
she get
gum,
vaccinated then?
I'm kicking ass and chewing bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. Like that's not her. She's
Yeah,
like,
I would agree with that,
her
Bird.
Heart pounds.
For most
voice
people, it
breaks,
was less.
She trembles. But then, and that's
Old
what
people
really
first.
like,
Okay.
when her
Yeah,
voice breaks,
I
when
forget
she's,
that
like, really
in America,
scared,
like
but she,
anybody that
clenches
wants
her
the
fist,
vaccine can go and get it.
and,
We
the
have
adrenaline kicks in,
we have
and
tons
she
of
pushes
extras.
through, no matter the obstacle, and she does it using her mind, and using science and using her cunning to craft these weapons and gadgets.
Oh, you can get it though. That's cool.
Survive against the odds.
Awesome. So you mentioned that Kate's a team player and that Scar gets sent up. Who else is in the team? Who else are we going to be meeting on this adventure?
So she's a part of a 4-person team. There is the commander of the mission, Commander Robinson, Richard Robinson, and he is like a person with a military background, like a pilot. And
I get what you mean, Kakashi.
An officer, and like he is the commander after all. But the rest of the team are mission specialists, because and this is also kind of like the idea that it's this alien object appears, we send scientists and explorers trying to figure what's going on. So
yeah, same bird. For America, it was old people,
her, close friend,
less
Tamara,
old people, less old people, and waves like that. But now it's just open to pretty much anyone.
And by Mike, a little bit younger member of the team, but who is also like a communications expert, and like
I always have a lot of lurkers.
They're all scientists
which I'm fine with. I appreciate lurkers.
But Kate does get separated from them, and part of the game is actually uncovering the fate of her other team members, and I don't want to spoil anything, but Kate obviously cares a lot about her teammates and her friends.
So she's either going to find one of her teammates out on the world, or she's going to find her dead teammates.
Scars Above.
I'm
going for the dead ones,
corny,
but it wouldn't surprise me if there's one still alive.
I'm proud of the team. So like making a game is a huge effort.
Oh, that's cool, Bird.
There's a lot of hard work, focus, energy, dedication, but also like cooperation, communication, support. So it's just like looking at a group of people working together on a common goal, that's really inspiring. And I think that's truly the case with any development team. Like when you ask them like what you're most proud of, and I keep thinking like one day in the far future, I may actually forget some of the details during the development, but I will always remember the people I worked with.
That's awesome. And then last question, what are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch and being on their brand new publishing label?
Oh, that's too bad, Kakashi.
But like, having access to certain resources, to experience. This is a game, with many firsts for us. So having someone to just like, share thoughts and share the experience is really valuable. But
exactly, Bird.
Level,
every developer, they're going to ask that.
I'm being perfectly honest. Like the biggest benefit for me was meeting a bunch of great people on your side. And I truly mean this. Like it's
for America, middle school is 6th grade through I believe 9th grade, and then high school is
about the game or
9th through 12th.
Just like we talk a lot, as you know, like we chat about various things. Just meeting you guys, like it's a tremendous boost to what we're doing. And I don't want to downplay like the obvious benefits, because there's a lot of them, like the infrastructure, the resources. But for me personally, it's just like meeting and getting to hang out with you guys. That's really awesome.
Absolutely, and it's a pleasure to hang out with you as well, Ivan. And thank you so much for your time. I cannot wait to let people play Scars Above, because I know that we have so much fun with it in the office. So thank you very much.
So they're not really putting
And,
dates
we can't
on
wait to see more.
much of anything.
Thank you.
Like release dates.
I'm looking forward to people playing the game. We're really excited about
Coming
it.
up Encased.
Thank you for this talk. Yeah.
And now for something completely different. When Brian Fargo himself, the granddaddy of top-down isometric RPGs, says he is excited about a game, that's gotta mean Prime Matter is getting something right. Encased is an isometric dystopian sci-fi RPG scheduled for release this autumn. And this new trailer, which we're unveiling today, should give you a pretty good flavor of what the game is all about.
It's 1976, and the future has arrived.
Ooh. Oh, I like this art style.
We at Cronus need you. Cronus was formed after a dome-like structure was discovered 5 years ago. Was it from our ancient past? Was it made by aliens? Does it run on perfectly harmless nuclear power? We need to know.
Perfectly
and
harmless.
Humanity is waiting for you to help unlock its secrets. Descend into the dome itself and join one of our incredible research teams. The only question is, which wing of
It does
Cronus
burn.
is the best fit for you? If you like taking orders, cracking heads, ultra-violence, and guns, lots of guns, then the Black Wing is for you. Can you build and repair incredible technology, but not expect any credit for it? You sound like an engineer to us. Welcome to the Blue Wing. Are you a doctor, scientist, mathematician, or any other type of brainiac?
To the Red Wing.
In the White Wing.
Oh, the White Wing.
Do you like taking credit for the hard work of others, but never do anything yourself? Those forms won't fill themselves. That's management, mister. And the Silver Wing awaits.
Oh.
Are you a criminal, prisoner, or have no discernible skills whatsoever?
Jeez.
Then you're coming to the Orange Wing, like it or not. Are you ready for adventure? Are you
This looks
ready
really
to make
cool.
the change with us? Are you ready to love it so much that you'll never want to leave? Then join Cronus and take the second giant leap for mankind under the dome.
That looked really
That's
cool.
not all. Opal got to sit down with the creative brains behind Encased. Check it out.
Let's go to St. Petersburg in Russia and speak to Vyacheslav Kosahin, creative director of Dark Crystal Games and the brains behind their upcoming isometric RPG Encased. So, Slava, what is Encased?
So Encased is an old-school RPG in
I feel like I've seen this guy before.
Post-apocalyptic setting, basically.
Dark Crystal Games. Have they made anything
So the
else?
name Encased is kind of, it's a word and it has various meanings. What's
Dark
the
Crystal
thinking
Games.
behind the name?
The thinking behind the name comes from the setting of the game, from one.
No, I think this is their
main
first game.
entity of it, which is the dome. The game takes place in the anomalous zone called the dome, which was found somewhere in the last unknown desert on the Earth and on our planet. And well, basically, people who get in there, various scientists, technicians, soldiers, and adventurers, they.
I think the
can get
gameplay is like
back.
an old school, like
This
Fallout
is
1
sort
and
of a
2
one-way road.
isometric
So
RPG type
those
thing.
Guys who
That's what their
store
website says.
The dome, they are encased in there, which I think makes some sense in this regard.
Absolutely.
It looks like they're trying to release it later
I know
this
that
year.
You guys have been developing
on their
this
website.
game for kind of a long time now.
And they added full voice acting.
To get to the point where you are now.
So we are developing the game for 3.5 years now. We started late in 2017 with some pre-production, but obviously we have thoughts about a project like this for years and years before that, before those crystallized in something, something that really exists. So it takes 10 years of thinking behind this game, this project, and 3.5 years of actual production time to this point.
So considering how long it takes, how do you guys keep yourself so motivated just on one particular title?
Well, we can't say we have any problems with motivation on our own, because for most, if not everyone on the team, this is the dream project that comes to life. So that's
I bet you this game will be pretty good.
The motivation is always high, but also we are in the early access, and we're really open with the community from the
it's in early access
stages of the project. And because of this openness and talks with the community, and we have had a crowdfunding, and now we are in the early access, we have this constant feedback on the project, both positive and sometimes negative, which obviously keeps us motivated. If we would be on our own for those...
Yeah, they released it in early access in 2019.
Some extra time we'll spend on developing this game. Maybe the motivation could decline a little bit, but with
$30, that's not bad.
Constant talks with the community, shared feedback, we're all good.
Nice.
Awesome. And then kind of bringing it back to the game, given
you want to start a war on the server before we close it?
Technology
maybe that's not a bad idea.
It basically dictates how the game evolves throughout its development. How close to the original concept that you came up with years and years ago are you now with the game that you have currently?
The overall concept, we managed to keep it alive. We managed to keep it true. It's a very old school CRPG type game, which is inspired by many golden classics of late 90s and early 2000s, and in that regard, all those ideas survived through the process, which is really great. Most of the mechanics, abilities, perks, and all those little things which these RPGs are built from, we managed to
I think I definitely try this game. I don't want to try it while it's in early access, though. I want to wait for a full release.
Even, time passes, some...
yeah, I saw that bird.
Less important things, I'd say, like maybe graphics or maybe art style beats or maybe some topics and themes. We explore those, transformed and changed during the process, because making games and RPGs particularly, it's an iterative process and takes many iterations to figure out what is the heart, what is the idea you want to bring to the players. So those transformed and crystallized during this long development. But the original concept, the very heart of it's all in there, which is really great.
Yeah, so speaking about the concept, what's the actual narrative of Encased?
The story of Encased is a story about exploring this anomalous zone, the Dome. The player starts as an employee of this Cronus organization, which is the only organization that controls entire Dome research and studying. There are 5 departments which are called wings a player can start in, which affects the game a lot and the story of the game. This is the Black Wing, which are the security and police services. There are White Wing, which are scientists and medics. There is the Silver Wing, which are the management and ruling.
Going Orange Wing.
Wing of the Dome of the Cronus. There are Blue Wing, which are technicians and engineers, and there is
Blue Wing could be pretty cool.
Orange Wing, which contains ex-convicts which were freed to go to the Dome to do various manual labor.
So you've mentioned that the game is set in the early 70s. Not many games have been set in that time period. What prompted you to pick that specific time period?
Well, we think that the 70s is the perfect time for like our game, what we are doing, because 70s is like the last tick on the timeline of the humanity, while there were some blind spots on the planet. First satellites and first people in space, it's all happened in late 50s and early 60s, right? And 70s is the last spot on the timeline when there is some, when satellites do not have this complete web surrounding the Earth and the planet, and there are some blind spots where such an amazing and dangerous place like Dome can be hidden. And from that place, from that time, the story takes its alternative path. Instead of going,
I just discovered I have a dead pixel
sort of
on my monitor, and now I can't not see it because it's right in the white of the background. It's so noticeable.
Discoveries, basically.
Yeah, so you mentioned that this is kind of like almost a parallel universe.
A dead pixel, it basically just it's one of the pixels on the monitor went out, so it's just black.
Actually happened in the 70s compared to what happens in the game. I guess it's seeing, as you said, that it devolves, it's quite a bit.
Yeah, obviously. So the main topic would be obviously that instead of continuing the Cold War, the West and the East, if we can call
no, because it's on the actual monitor iron.
Instead, start to explore the ideas of like internationalism and exploring the Dome together and forming that super corporation Cronus, which is actually the only foundation
these interviews are so long, man.
Controls all the researches and controls the flow of like artifacts and scientific researches which comes from the Dome into the rest of the world. And yeah, those ideas are quite different from what happened in the real world, I guess.
And kind of bringing it back to the real world almost. Obviously, you guys are based in Russia, and life in the 70s was very different than life was in the West.
And what's it like working with Prime Matter?
How much of that do you think translates to an
No, they haven't gotten there yet, Kakashi.
How much do you
Not
think
yet.
people won't understand because they just, no one kind of really lived over there, or no one really knew what was happening over there?
Oh, as I said, I think the game pursues the ideas of internationalism when very different parties across the world could put their own struggles, political and other struggles aside to humanity become something bigger when it's combined with everyone is united together to to ascend to be something more and to explore the Dome, its dangers and its discoveries, basically.
Absolutely. Now bringing it kind of back to you guys and the developers.
Oh,
again.
here it is.
You mentioned that you were inspired by other games. What games?
Oh no.
Really truly inspired it? Not just games, but media, and also what do you and the team like as well when it comes to video games?
Well, we are here all the hardcore RPG fans. So it's not secret why we, I suppose, picked up a project like this to develop, and it's not a secret.
Yeah, I like her accent.
The game is it's in a very hard way was inspired by the Fallout series, and the other great RPG games of late 90s and early 2000s, and some modern ones too, actually.
So speaking about development, what was the hardest part of making the game for you guys?
I think the easier question would be what was the easy part. I can't really come with much things which were easy. It's all it's an everyday struggle in a way. It's a marathon, but it's a happy marathon, and it's a happy everyday struggle basically for us.
Absolutely. And then moving it into that more positive thing, the happy marathon. What are you most proud of when it comes to Incast?
I'm obviously proud
and I keep getting it wrong.
Both the team and the project.
It's always the same questions, but I always forget.
Both us here in the team and our community, we often forget that 3.5 years ago there was nothing, there was emptiness, nothing existed. And here now, 3.5 years later, both with the team effort and the feedback which we get from the community, there is this great universe, a curious world which is almost ready to be explored and to be adventured in. inside, basically.
And then moving on to the last question, what are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher
There
like Koch
we
Media and being
go.
on their new label?
So
Finally.
I think that signing with a partner as Koch Media is really great because it not only benefits us as developers, but such partnership also benefits our community, our players. We as the developers, we get more time to work on the project and polish it so it would be in the perfect state, while our players will enjoy more localizations which will make the game more
Echoes of the End
accessible
coming
to the
up.
wider audience. Will get the voiceover done, which just make the game better and bring it on some other higher level.
From an isometric dystopian sci-fi RPG to our next title, which is a fresh take on the action-adventure genre. This team, all the way from Iceland, specifically built a mocap studio for this title and has the incredible talent of Alice Hamilton
Good one,
as their
Kakashi.
lead protagonist. I got to sit down with the guys and ask them, what is this game all about?
That's what I'm wondering.
Echoes of the End is a cinematic, narrative-driven action-adventure game about Rin, a person who has trained all her life to be a warrior in service to a throne, and is now searching and finding her own identity.
It's a nice office.
As she's cast away from the life she's always
See you,
known.
Kakashi.
It's a game we wanted to to make all our lives, basically. And for us, what we really wanted to explore was a marriage of a cinematic experience and the narrative, choice-driven storytelling of RPGs. Finding that bridge and union is what really inspired us to go and make our own video game.
Exactly, and such a big integral part of the experience.
We'll see you next time,
is how
Kakashi,
you
then.
as a player choose to interact with the characters around you, the different companions, the characters that you'll run into when you're going about in the game and trying to solve all the issues that the player will that you'll be facing as a player.
What was the inspiration behind it?
We're at a remarkable point in the game industry where, you know, a relatively small team is able to tackle such an ambitious vision, and
That's so
it's
cool.
actually reasonable. And I think we've just recently arrived at that point. You know, there have been some really great games making leaps in the past few years, kind of paving the way for this as the tools and hardware and software get more accessible and affordable for smaller developers. We kind of, you know, in the early days of Midgard, we came to realize that a game like this might be possible. And it seemed unreal to us that it might be at the time. But, you know, growing the team and building up the tech and pipelines in-house, you know, we saw that this was, in fact, possible. And it's an absolute dream for everyone at the company to, you know, be privileged enough to work on a game like this and to really shape the game that we all want to make.
Yeah, so kind of sticking on that point of development and how technology often drives the direction of how a game evolves throughout its development. How close to the original concept is the game now?
That's a really good question. So it's rather close. Like I would say we didn't really do any large pivots. We did make some changes, of course, as the vision evolved and as we understood better kind of what the game was going to be and kind of how we scoped it to fit a team that would be able to execute on it. But I think, you know, we were always, you know, from day one.
They both have some nice pairs of glasses. I like their glasses.
That was allow us to make this game, you know, going for really, you know, realistic and stunning visuals, you know, digital doubles for characters, scanned environments, you know, next gen development engines, next-gen game engines, kind of all those things were in place for us to make the game. I think the primary things that have changed in the making of the game are more in the details of the execution of that, how we structure the story, what kind of game mechanics we want in a game like that, and really what the identity of our game is and how we separate that from other games.
We genuinely have been making this game. This game, even though it is slightly different.
Yeah.
My work as narrative director has not had to change a lot.
Exactly. Yeah.
We've mentioned obviously at the start and throughout what we've spoken
I hope
about
they show
so
this
far,
one because it
you guys
sounds
are based
cool.
in
But I think if they were going to show it, they would have shown it
knows the,
first, like the other
picturesque
ones.
Scenery of Iceland. Did you get much inspiration from your homeland in the environment?
Yes, absolutely. You know, Iceland is such a phenomenal place to live in, and it's a beautiful country that's been featured in, you know, many films and video games before us. And the funny thing is that us growing up in Iceland, this is normalcy for us.
It's okay. Take a sip of coffee.
It isn't until we visit other countries that we realize that the rest of the world isn't a fantasy land.
Oh my God, trees!
Yes. So, but yeah, I mean, it's absolutely inspired by Iceland. And, you know, I was working as a tour guide for the longest time, and a lot of us like grew up in the country from different locations. And we pulled from those locations in the game. And even for some of them, we have nearly one-to-one replicas of them, you know, in the game. But the game itself isn't based in Iceland, of course.
Yeah, I want to go to Iceland someday.
More fantasy.
Definitely on the list.
Vistas and visuals.
Because while all this is true, while we love Iceland and while we'd be fools not to utilize the access we have to Icelandic natural phenomenons to scan and take references from, we don't want to make a game about Vikings because it's something that's been done a lot, and we really want to make a unique IP that is ours and that no one has seen before.
Yeah, and we kind of touched on characters, and you mentioned the main character at the very start.
I think you said Ray.
Tell us about her.
Raya.
You know, what made you choose her? Why does she exist the way that she exists?
I'll hand that one off to you, I think.
Yeah, it's always a tricky question to answer without getting into any sort of spoilers.
Yeah.
But Ren is...
Oh, Ren.
As I say, she is a character, a person trained from birth to be a weapon in service to the crown. I was really fascinating in exploring the difference between a person that is, the juxtaposition between purpose and independence. And Rin is a character burdened by purpose. And
this sounds really cool.
Has been given a purpose, not of her own choosing, not by her own volition, but one that she has inherent to her birth and very existence. Throughout this game in particular, we want to explore the journey of going beyond that purpose and going beyond what role you are born into and seizing the world by the throat, basically. And I would say that she's born with certain powers that make her both a pariah and a uniquely powerful individual. But with that power come certain challenges and certain
simple videos.
Superstitions.
Way to bring the mood down.
She's challenged to overcome. I think that's general enough to avoid spoilers.
Yeah,
Would you like to add to that?
And just to add a layer to that, I think with the main character, she's, throughout the game, you're constantly meeting new people. We're setting her in, we start with her familiar setting, her kind of role in society, and her kind of what's expected of her, and we kind of break free from that throughout the game as we meet different characters, and Rin kind of finds her own path and purpose, like Magnus spoke on. And I think that's really where the player also steps in and kind of forms those new relationships that Rin forms throughout the game, and really is an effector on those. I think what really
I don't think they're going to show any gameplay or anything
in the game is the performance by the excellent actress behind her, who is Aldís Amma Hamilton, who is absolutely phenomenal at portraying such an awesome character.
What's the hardest part of game development so far? I know you guys are still in the development, but what's been the most challenging?
The most challenging part of game development?
I think that's a different answer for every team.
Yes, I think that's a different
And then after that, it'll be what's the most rewarding?
Different answer for every team member.
What are you inspired by?
Different
And lastly, how do you like working for Prime Media?
I think for us,
or Prime Matter?
It's been vitally important to find the right people to work on the game. And that's a really difficult thing to do, finding the right people who you believe in and who are really passionate about making games like this. And we've been lucky enough to find the right people so far, and we have exceptionally talented people on board with us making this game. And I think while that is often from the outset it's an invisible part of game development, but it's absolutely essential and extremely difficult.
Yeah, so you kind of mentioned before that, Iceland's quite small. Does that mean that you guys kind of struggle to find that talent that's out there, or is it quite rich in terms of game development?
So, as usual, Iceland is excellent per capita. We're best at everything per capita, and among those in the Nordics, we have the most developers per capita. That's not really a useful metric when you look at the fact that we're only like 300,000 people, basically a small fisher town someplace. But Iceland is completely unique in the way that CCP, another pretty well-known developer here in Iceland, kind of paved the way for all the other game developers here that are now thriving. We have a great educational infrastructure.
Yeah, so they're probably able to poach some talent from around them.
Fields of game development here in Iceland. So we have exceptional talent coming out. And so I think,
Jesus, Bird.
Size, we have great access to talent. And another part of it is that we've had a lot of Icelanders who got into game development early and moved to other countries and then moved back with a lot of experience helping new teams form and build games here. So while it's definitely a challenge to find people in a smaller nation, we're blessed by the fact that we do have exceptional talent here, and we have an educational system that is actively each year graduating new students who know game development.
What Haldor is saying is that we're a nation of nerds.
Yes. And like another per capita is that,
that was a weird zoom in shot.
It's an incredibly high number of people in Iceland who play games at all ages. Yep. Like an insanely high number.
Yeah, that's really crazy. And, we've kind of mentioned what's the most difficult part about game development, but what are you most proud of up until this point?
That's, it's not, it's a difficult question to answer because there's so many things. I mean, making games is, it takes so many people to do so many things for it to go correctly. And I think what we're most proud of is that so far we seem to be doing it correctly with the great people. So I think what we're most proud of is the team and the progress that we made with this team.
Yeah, I think that's a very good answer in general, that just the talent we've collected around us and the friendships that have formed so strongly within this company.
Yeah.
I think that's invaluable and is what's going to drive it forward.
And then, finally, guys, what are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher
skipped a couple questions
and being part of their brand new label?
That's a great question. So obviously we touched on the part that we're kind of stuck in Iceland, so our outreach is quite limited on an island in the sea. No, but all jokes aside, the main benefit is that it's an extension of the team, and it's a great extension of the team. Yeah. We talk about the things that have been the most difficult, and that's building the team, and the things that we're most proud of.
Oh, cool,
is,
simple.
Again, the team that we built. And for us, Koch is a fantastic extension to the team. It's a publisher full of great people who are really passionate about games, and they're empowering us to deliver these games, worldwide. And I think that is anything developer
Last Oracle coming up
in a publisher.
And we are absolutely glad to have you guys. Thank you so much for your time, and I cannot wait to give people more information about Echoes of the End.
From one side of the globe all the way to the other. If you like the game Gothic and hardcore RPGs, The Last Oracrew is just for you.
Oracrew.
I got to sit down with two of the guys from Gold Knights and talk all about them and their new game.
Please show it.
Guys, today I am joined by Gold Knights creative and game director Pavel Strnad.
Please show the game.
Executive producer Vladimir Gershel to talk about their game, The Last Oracrew.
Hi, Opal. Hi, Opal.
So you guys make The Last Oracrew. What is the game about?
It's an action RPG where I try to show the relativity of good and evil from different perspectives of living and breathing world.
So when
you know what's like so much better than just like describing your game?
Exactly?
It's a hard question. I'll give you guys a little bit.
It's quite challenging and skill-based RPG, but compared to many other titles in this genre, our story does not take place in some dark.
That's right, showing the game.
Waking up in a living and breathing
showing concept art, showing literally anything is better than just describing your game.
For supremacy over the whole planet.
Close, Army, close.
Warriors of each side believe that they
literally anything.
Often fighting for survival and well-being.
A website, a picture, anything. The soundtrack. Anything will be better than describing the game.
Also the misery of the losers.
to make the player realize that the number of decisions he can make in the game will affect all the living beings in the world.
So you mentioned that you make
Like, I know all these games are good. Like, from the ones they've showed small snippets and how the devs talk about them, I know they're going to be like something to look forward to. But this is such a shame that this is everyone's like, or some people's exposure to these games is just a long, rambling interview for each one. I wish they had brought in someone to really tell them what to do.
Individual characters have their own reactions. This creates different situations.
Like, Jeff Keighley should have been like, all right, come on. You can't have the devs talking for 10 minutes and not showing anything.
Each player can find their own path.
Like, it's so sad. Like, I wish
and influence the future of each race.
I wish they showed something for each of these games.
And it is not done just by few choices somewhere in dialogues or by completing some quests, but by your continuous actions and decisions. Let me give you an example. In many scenarios, you are asked to kill the general of Redkin people. And you can obviously refuse doing that, but if you decide to kill him, there are many possibilities of what you can do.
I like their logo behind him, though. That's a cool logo.
Of his death. You can keep it and become hero, or you can give it to the queen and come closer to her heart, or you can give it to another characters of this conflict with different outcomes.
While I'm playing, guys, if I decide to be a little bit mischievous and kind of go down the route of everyone hating me, what does that mean for me?
Yes, there is an option that you will try
Means
to
you're a
do
jerk.
as much harm to do as many beings as possible, and there are some dark characters that will be pleased by that. However, cooperation with them may be eventually very painful for you. That's another interesting thing, that often there is some hidden party involved in many wars, which profits from both sides of the conflict and the conflict itself. So that's a bit of the hidden part in the game, which you can play, but it will be a little bit difficult to play.
So the game has co-op. Can a friend help me with the boss battles? Can we play the whole entire game together? How does this work?
You know those lonely nights when you play games which are super exciting for you, but you feel a little bit sad that you cannot share that experience with anyone? That was generally the idea.
Yeah, there is a great demand for couch play in the whole third-person action RPG genre. So we are sure that for our future audience, the co-op is going to be one of the most
couch co-op. That's cool.
Of our game. And that's why we went even farther. We have many situations what can be solved in co-op differently than in single player. So you can find new fun ways of how to kill some bosses, or solve some puzzles, or reach some special secret areas. But you know, at the end of the day, combat is bread and butter of an RPG. So if you, for example, play as a melee tank, while the second player plays a magic support, you will enjoy tens of awesome hours of shared fun.
Oh, wait, so you're telling me there's magic and melee? What does this mean for the combat of the game?
Well, the combat is targeted at more experienced players. I'm very much on the wave of recent challenging RPGs that are based on the skills of the player, timing and stamina.
So it sort of sounds like Outward.
Mechanism in the game that would let you use some more than block and fast attack buttons.
But, you know, don't forget that our word has sci-fi roots.
I know, Army.
What is for
revolutionary
can be for more developed culture or technology.
But be prepared to die.
A lot.
Let me look up this studio. Maybe they have some
Finally, guys, I just want to ask
Gold
you,
Knights.
what does it mean to be under Koch Media's brand
Gold Knights
new
Games?
Honestly, it was the best step we could do in our game development. It helped us dramatically increase...
Oh, Last Oracle, there it is. Hold on.
Primarily on the game itself.
They have a website.
And yet, we still have the...
like every RPG.
...over the game. And all the feedback we are getting is really helping us to make better games. So far,
they literally have screenshots on their website for the game.
That I could use my
Why would they show them?
And restructure the game and the team to shape.
Like, it looks good.
The right fit
it looks really good.
As a Koch Media. From the very beginning of our cooperation with Pavel, we were thinking big and aiming at building a really memorable new game.
Oh my god.
And being part of the starting portfolio of a brand
because no
media label gives us a great opportunity to fully achieve it.
Thank you so much, Pavel and Vladimir, for your time. It's been awesome talking to you.
That's so... Oh my god.
Crew,
it looks so good in the screenshots.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
We teased it in the sizzle, and now let's hear
Damn.
from our friends at Starbreeze to talk about Payday 2, Payday 3, and their upcoming cooperation with Prime Matter.
Thank you, Jeff, and hi, everyone. We're excited to be here.
They'll have
excited to
some
talk about
gameplay,
Payday, and
for sure.
excited to be working with Prime Matter. At Starbreeze, we see Payday as the ultimate bank robbing experience, inspired by classic heist movies, providing adrenaline-fueled gameplay where you get to experience the thrill of being on the wrong side of the law with a smart plan and a gun in your
You know,
hand.
I never played Payday 2.
Is what we've been doing.
But it always looked
Since the
fun.
original game, Payday the Heist, through the sequel, Payday 2, to the upcoming Payday 3. And our ever-growing player community, our heisters, continue to be an inspiration for us in everything we do, pushing us to make the best Payday possible.
Here you go. This is the best part of the conference so far. This is a video game conference.
The world of Payday is an exaggerated reflection of reality where order is kept by the
This studio must have just taken over and been like, no, we'll make our own package.
turn this order into chaos, giving the law the middle finger. That's when adrenaline truly kicks in and the outnumbered gang keeps beating the odds, often escaping with the cash in a hail of bullets. The Payday universe has an ongoing narrative that has been created over the years. The gang has built a reputation by going after the highest profile targets, setting up some of the craziest heist plans, and going up against
Still
some of the
looks
most
good.
powerful of enemies. And through all of this, the gang keeps coming out on top. In their exploits, the gang has become, as they call it, the tightest crew ever. The wider criminal underworld of Payday lives its own life, where movers and shakers want a piece of the action, or a piece of the Payday gang. In the gang's life of crime, they are way past the point of no return. And as we look ahead for what's to come, the gang will learn that there's no rest for the wicked.
Ron Perlman? What the heck?
This legacy
Juan
is
Carlo
something that we
Esposito.
treasure and will build on,
What?
expanding on this epic story, taking you all with us into the future of Payday. Many millions of players have enjoyed Payday so far. It's been an amazing journey for us at Starbreeze. On Steam, Payday 2 has the biggest player
What, was there a Payday movie? What?
This
What was that
means the
from?
world to us.
Payday turns 10 this year, but we're only getting started. With our team hard at work, cooperation with Prime Matter and other partners, and above all, a fantastic player community, we are looking to the future with great anticipation.
I'm rich. It's payday, fellas.
The release of Payday 3 is years away, but we could finish off today with a sneak
Years
peek
away.
of what we're working on, a taste of things to come.
Okay, here we go. Payday movie from 1973? I don't think it was that.
Well, there you have it. Quite a lineup. And Opal, I know we're going to be
That wasn't a
hearing much more
taste.
from Prime
That
Matter
was a
in the
sniff.
months ahead, right?
That's a great question.
Jeez.
Prime Matter will be taking a huge leap into the streaming world. From June the 14th, we'll be streaming 3 times a week, every week, providing you guys with gameplay content,
Exactly, Army.
and trophy hunting streams, as well as Dungeons and Dragons in our own universes, cooking streams, and so much more. We also want to get our developers involved and have it so that you guys get to know our developers better. Not only that, but expect to see a lot more shows from us in the future.
Okay, good.
And Jeff can help us out.
They have
too.
room to improve.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see what Prime Matter has for us in the future.
Help 'em
Thanks
out,
for
Jeff.
announcing with us yesterday at Summer Game Fest, and I look forward to being back with you again later this summer.
No worries, Jeff, and thank you for your time. It's been awesome hosting with you, and I can't wait to do more in the future. And a thanks to you guys watching, to the streamers who are co-streaming, to our new gamers who are looking forward to the title.
That was sent before a smelt.
We are focusing on making fun, unique, and honest content for you guys. So, stay safe, stay cool, and I will see you guys on Monday. Bye!
On Monday? What? What the heck happened on Monday? Are they... What? Let me bring up the E3 schedule. Are they having another one on Monday? Monday... I don't see him anywhere on the E3 schedule. Huh. Well, that was the Koch Media Prime Matter Publishing presentation. Let me know what you think in the comments if you're watching this later on YouTube. And we're going to roll into some Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.